Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Debra Kasowski. We're going to be talking about the power of choice. And there are many things that influence the power of our choices. Do you know what they are? There's three main things to help you focus on making decisions and moving forward. Each day we are faced with endless amount of decisions. And each choice we make shapes the experiences that we have and bring us to where we are today. Now, if you're looking around at your life and you're thinking, you know what, I have a feeling it could be much better. Or, you know what, there are things that I really love about my life and there's things that I would love to change. Well, there's the key thing. There are things that you want to change and you have the power of choice. That is one of the greatest gifts that we have, the opportunity to choose what we want and we don't want. Simplest exercise that I'll have for you is to walk through your home. Jot down the things that irritate you, annoy you, things that might be broken, cluttered. Make a list of all of those things. It could be things from the colors of the wall, to the position of your furniture, to piles of papers and clutter. Those can be easy fixes. Paint the wall a different color, bring plants into your environment, turn on some music, reposition your furniture, and suddenly you feel like you're in a different environment. So some of those choices can be small and some of the choices are big. But here's the thing, if we are focused on making those choices, that knowing that each choice is important, you have an opportunity to make choices to do the work that you love and what matters to you, to enhance your relationships, to work on the paper or work on your business versus going out and partying. You know, there's choices all the time to get some sleep or have lack of sleep, doing things that are wasting your time. You're zoning out on television. Think about the choices that you're making. All of these end up being little habits that contribute to the results that you're currently getting. And now to recognize you have the power of choice to do something different. It's important to recognize that the smallest actions matter. The smallest choices, they are compounded. They can make a big difference because what happens as we make one choice, it leads to another choice and another choice and another choice. And we can anticipate some of the choices that might come up for us. Now, the big thing is, do you question your choices? Often they're unconscious. We just go and make choices. We're automatically asking ourselves questions all the time, not even realizing that we need to be more intentional, more mindful of the choices that we're making. So question your choice. Is this the choice that's going to align with where I want to go, who I want to be, what I want to do, what I want to have in my life? Now, when you stop and start questioning that, you're going to realize that some of the choices you're making, you need to make a shift from. You need to change some of those habits. It can be as simple as the food that you put in your mouth, whether or not you get some exercise, whether or not you put that cigarette to your mouth. You know, all of these are choices. You might be sitting in a university class and not writing down any notes and you're wondering why you can't figure things out. Are you engaged? So these are the little things that make the biggest difference. And it's time for you to start questioning some of the choices that you're making. Ultimately, you are responsible. You have the ability to respond to recognizing the behaviors and actions that you're taking that are maybe not getting you the results that you want. So you need to pay attention to what are the behaviors you're doing? What are the thoughts that are driving those behaviors? What are the things that you're telling yourself before you move into action? Now, I've read a story and talked to different athletes that, golfing, they're ready to do their putt. What was the thing that they told themselves? How could I screw this up? Now, if you're telling yourself, you have the power of choice of what you're going to tell yourself. Now, if I tell myself, you know what, I'm going to get it in. I'm going to get it in. Chances are more likely I will get it in with that mindset than I will by telling myself it's not going to go in. I'm going to screw up. So choosing the mindset that you want is just an example of the results that you're going to get. You need to pay attention to the thoughts that are driving the actions and how you feel about your capabilities. Now let's talk about choices and abilities. Now each of us, you included, have talents, skills, and abilities. Now you can have the talent, skill, and ability, and if it's on the shelf and you're not utilizing it, you're not moving it into action, you're not moving into effort, those talents and skills and abilities will never amount to more than just that. See, when people are putting into practice, they're preparing and planning to win, those winners are the ones who've put in the work. They don't rely only on talent, skills, and abilities. Because as in the tortoise and the hare story, you know that the rabbit takes a break, the hare takes a break, thinking he's well surpassed because he's got all this talent, he's got all this ability. And because he ends up taking a nap, he takes a nap a little bit too long. And the tortoise surpasses the hare. And why is that? Determination, focus, drive, where he knows where he's going, and he knows that if he continues to focus on where he wants, he's made a choice, that he is not going to let anything stop him from reaching the result and the outcome that he wants. So think about the choices that you're making. Are you just thinking that I have the ability? Because you can have all the potential in the world. We can have potential energy, potential enthusiasm, potential focus. Nothing happens unless you tap into that potential. Make something happen. Put the effort in. And as you do that, effort will trump talent any single day of the week. So really focused in on how can I take my talents, skills, and abilities that have been gifted to me in this unique package of me and be able to exude them and share them with the world to make it a better place. So that's what we're needing. We need you to tap into your skills, your abilities, and move them into action. Not put them on the shelf, not think how pretty they are for paper, but moving them so they can make some transformation and some impact in the world. Now, it was Abraham Maslow who said, each choice, each moment gives us two choices. The choice to step into growth or the choice to step back into safety. Which do you choose? And do you ask yourself that question? Am I moving toward growth or am I moving toward safety? And what am I afraid of? Because if we're moving back into safety, often it's a fear. And to be able to question that fear and find out and discover more about why that is. Do I need more knowledge? Do I need more honing my skills? Do I need more awareness of some kind that I'm completely missing? Or some reassurance and encouragement that I'm well on my way? Now, we all have a vision for ourselves. And I have to tell you, a few years ago, I was making this big decision and I started to share this vision with other people, but they couldn't see it. So I had the naysaying, people telling me I couldn't do it. And I decided that their opinion was greater than my own. Biggest mistake. And what happened was I didn't follow through on what that decision was going to be. And I ended up knowing that I betrayed myself in that moment. As I began to understand and learn and move through that and in an area of growth to understand why those people were responding that way. Why did I not follow through? I learned that a vision is given to an individual and it's not given to everybody, so that's why they can't see it. So when you have a vision for yourself, you have the power of choice of giving away your power into accepting another person's opinion, or you can choose your power from within and trust yourself to know exactly what you need to do moving forward. Now, it was Viktor Frankl, the author of Man's Search for Meaning, who survived Nazi concentration camps. And it is a powerful book. And I remember listening to the audio as I was working out in the gym, and some parts were very challenging to listen to. But I think of that challenge to listen versus the challenge he had in being that situation. And basically what he says is, no matter what goes on in our world, every individual has one thing that they will never let go of in their lives. And it's the individual freedom. Everyone has the freedom to choose their attitude of how they're going to show up in any given circumstance. And then it takes me to Maslow's quote in, are you going to choose growth? Or are you going to choose safety? Are you going to choose to judge a situation and go into judgment, how there's fault and blame and what's wrong? Or can you move to being curious and a learner to find out another person's experience? What's going well? What can we do with this situation? How can I choose to see this differently? Or can I choose a scarcity mindset, thinking there's not enough, there's a loss? Or can I have an abundance mindset where there's enough for everyone? Or I can have a poor mindset or a rich mindset. I can see something as the end, or I can see it as the beginning. As you can see, there's always a number of choices to choose. Often comes down to two. Are you going for growth? Or are you going for safety? And are you choosing what you really want in your life? The power of choice allows you to now create what it is that you want in your life and love the life that you're creating. Now there's 3 areas that I want you to really pay attention to, because your perception is your reality. And number 1 is meaning. The meaning that we give events in our lives drive us into the belief systems of what actions we will take. If we have, some people will look at one event and they'll be like, that was great, this is why I loved it. And another person will look at the same event and say, you know what? I didn't like it, and this is why. We can all have different perceptions based on our lens, our life experiences, our education, the knowledge that we have. Now, the meaning that we give to events will drive actions, will drive what we believe is possible, and we can choose the meaning. We can also choose what we focus on, because our focus of where our attention goes is where our energy translates to. So pay attention to where you're putting your focus. Are you focusing on what could go right, or are you focusing on what could go wrong? That's just one prime example of the questions we need to start asking ourselves to be more conscious of the choices we make. Now, finally, your actions. Actions speak louder than words. And when you see an action, are you going to move into action, or are you going to stay where you are? Because when you make a decision, you move into action. When you don't make a decision, you decide to stick with the status quo and think that everything is fine just the way it is. You can always make another choice. You can always make a new decision. So think about the choices that you are making and make them wisely. I'd love for you to join me on my website, sign up for my email list at www.debrakasowski.com. That's DEBRAKASOWSKI. And I would love for you to get your free video course download of Making Habits That Stick. These are habits that you're going to put in place to knock out those derailers, those distractions that are taking you off your game, so you can accomplish those goals and make them a reality. Subscribe, rate, hit the bell so you don't miss a single video or the podcast. And as Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world, and go out and make today great.